What's up, party people? It's Dan, your basement guitar superstar. Welcome to the channel. If you have not been here before and you like what you hear, please hit the like and subscribe button for me. Hit that little bell symbol so you know when I have additional content coming out. Today we are talking about vintage guitars, not like old guitars from the 70s. We're talking Vintage the brand, who's based out of the UK, distributed by John Hornsby Skews over there, by RBI Music here in the US. I own a bunch of them, and I want to show you my top 5 that you're going to see on the channel. So without further ado, let's get started. The first one here is going to be my OG vintage. So the one that got me into this brand as a channel. So give me just a second. I'm going to tell you the names of the guitars as well, because I'm a weirdo who names my guitars. So this first one here, I will show you the top on it. See that flame top? It's got a little battle scar already from when I was trying to set the intonation on it. This is my vintage V100 iced tea burst. Again, that's a vintage V100 iced tea burst. You'll notice that this is very much modeled after a Les Paul. It's a Les Paul style guitar. I think these sound awesome. They're about a third of the price of most Gibsons, maybe a fourth. I think I paid around $450, $500 for this one. I did get it at the Guitar Farm in New London, Iowa, my favorite guitar shop. And this is just awesome. I play it all the time. This one's name is Rachel. But yeah, I just love the finish on this. I love the way it sounds. It is not coil split though. Anyway, great guitar. My number 5, vintage V100 iced tea burst. Alright, my number 4. This is a traditional Strat style guitar, obviously, based on the body shape and the specs. This does have a thick neck on it. This is my first kind of proper Strat style guitar, and what I mean by that is one that's 3 single coils as opposed to HSS. I normally prefer Super Strats, but I really like this one. I dig the maple fretboard, the thickness of it. It gets a little thick sometimes to play, but it plays really smooth, and I absolutely love it. Again, this is a vintage V6. I think it's MFR, maple for maple fretboard, and then Firenze red. Absolutely love it with this. But you have volume tone knob, or 2 volumes in tone, 5-way switch here. Again, traditional Strat. It does have a tremolo arm that it comes with. I don't use that. I think I have one guitar that I use those on. You'll actually see it in this video. But yeah, this sounds really good. The difference between these and, let's say, a Fender Strat is Wilkinson pickups are going to sound a little bit more warm, a little bit more creamy, in my opinion. I like those warm tones a little bit better. I don't like my guitars as spanky, quote unquote. So anyway, that's my number 4. This name for this one is Poe Dameron, after the X-Wing pilot on the newer Star Wars trilogy. It just kind of reminded me of him with its attitude and stuff. But anyway, this is my number 4, vintage V6. Number 3, so this is the one I was referring to that does have the whammy bar on it. This is a vintage V65, obviously modeled after a Jazzmaster. It's got the 2 W90 pickups in it, which are the Wilkinson equivalent of P90s. I really like this guitar. It's one of my favorites to play, actually. It's probably in my top 5 of my collection. These sound nice and warm with a little bit of spank to them. Basic circuit here. You got volume and tone knob, 3-way selector switch, tremolo arm. The only issues I've had with this guitar is this came unattached inside the guitar body, and I actually had to take the bridge off and fish that out and reattach everything. That was kind of obnoxious, but other than that, I've had no issues with this. I think it sounds great. Intonation on it's easy to set. It's got a roller bridge. Let me see if we can get the camera to focus on that. See those little roller bars? I think those help out a lot with string tension. This stays in tune really well. I love I think it's Indian Laurel for the fretboard. Don't quote me on that. I'll put it up here in the description. It does have the vintage tuners, which kind of drive me nuts a little bit, but I'm warming up to them as I quit breaking strings on them. But anyway, this is my vintage V65. They have 4 new colors in this, all hardtails, and the new lineup for this year. So go check them out. I will post links to Vintage's website and any place you can find these, but they're awesome. Again, this is my number 3. Its name is Link, like Link from the Legend of Zelda video games. Number 2. So number 2 is a guitar that I got, again, at Guitar Farm in New London, Iowa. I actually bought this one used. This is another vintage V100. I've always wanted to own a white Les Paul, and especially recently, I've been really into Manic Street Preachers. Particularly James Dean Bradford, their guitarist, owns a Gibson Les Paul that looks a lot like this. I don't remember if his has the nickel hardware or the gold like this. But I really love this guitar. It's quite heavy compared to my other V100, the Ice T Burst. This feels about a pound and a half heavier. So that's why I put the strap locks on it. It did not come with those. I installed those myself. But yeah, love this guitar. It sounds great. This is usually actually my go-to when I'm playing a Les Paul, unless my back's hurting. But again, vintage V100 AW for Arctic White. And it's got like the beautiful ivory binding on there. And plays every bit as good as every Gibson Les Paul I've played. So I absolutely love this. But anyway, this is my number 2 vintage V100 AW. And its name is Herbie. And eventually it will have like the racing stripes and the number 53. Like Herbie the Love Bug on here. I just haven't bought the graphics yet. But anyway, that's my number 2. Number 1. This is my number 1 favorite of the vintage lineup that I own. This was a new model, not new model, new style of this model that came out last year. It was announced at NAMM. So this is a vintage V100, clearly. And this is the vintage V100 MGT. So mini gold top, mini humbucker gold top. So let me see if we can zoom in on this. Look at that sparkle finish on there. I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up or not for you. But it's got like this beautiful wood grain mahogany on the back. This one's a little bit lighter than the white one. I absolutely love the way these mini humbuckers sound. This plays great. But anyway, I just love this guitar. I've wanted a gold top for a long time. I'm probably actually going to get one of the V100s that have the W90s in them as well, just because I like gold tops that much. And their guitars with W90s sound awesome, but this is definitely my favorite of my vintages right now. Keep in mind, I do own 4 other ones too, but I try and keep those in mint condition based on a couple parameters that I'm not going to share in this video, but I'm not going to bring those out and show them to you because they're actually in storage right now in a different spot. But anyway, this is my number 1. Its name is Zelda, based on Zelda from the Legend of Zelda game. So I have Link and Zelda both. Again, my number 1 vintage V100 MGT. All right, party people, we're back. It's Dan, your basement guitar superstar. So let's talk for a little bit about why I love vintage the brand so much. So here's why I love them. Actually, we're going to do this for a little bit. We're going to move the camera closer so you guys can see my lovely mug up close and personal. Hopefully I don't have any nose hairs sticking out or anything. But anyway, here's why I love vintage the brand. So when I started getting back into guitar around the pandemic time frame, so 3.5 years ago, I wanted to find, at the time I owned 3 Fenders, a Marauder, which I still have, a Made in Mexico Telecaster, which I also still have, and then a Toronado, which I've since sold. I'm not going to go into the story about why I sold it. Replaced it with a different one, a Toronado GT. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. So I was looking for a brand that I could get on board with that wasn't crazy expensive, but still sounded pretty good, you know, for somebody that's an amateur guitarist like I am. So that being said, I stumbled onto vintage, and I want to say, yeah, it was when I was going around, I was doing a series of videos called Shop Spotlight, where I would go talk to different guitar shop owners. And I went to the guitar farm in New London. I found out about it through a Google search, and I noticed he had a ton of this brand there, and they were kind of interesting. I checked out some videos on them, and then I had him order me the iced tea burst. Also ordered me that V6, the Firenze red one, and a couple others. The gold top, the one with the mini humbuckers, I think was one I ordered from him as well. But anyway, absolutely fell in love with the brand. Got involved in their online group through Facebook, Vintage Guitar Players. Met some really cool people there that I now have as friends for life. I've interviewed a couple of them for the channel. Matt Smith is one, Darnell Cole, Kerry Martin, several others there. All great people. Jamie Mallender, one of them, bass player who's awesome. And yeah, I just love the brand. I love the vibe that everybody in the group has for them. The excitement is just infectious. And honestly, I've only had one that I've had some, what I would call real issues with, and that's that V6. I had a little bit of fret sprout on it, which is to be expected with a maple fretboard, especially given the conditions in Iowa where I'm from, where it's, humid, dry, humid, dry, humid, dry, and then it gets super dry during the winter. I try and keep things as humidified as possible, but it's tough sometimes to be able to do that and be consistent with it. But anyway, that's why I love Vintage, the brand. They're just awesome people. They make great guitars for not crazy amounts of money, and feel like they do a pretty good job promoting their own from within. And the other thing I love about them is Rick over at RBI Music. He and I met at NAMM a couple summers ago when it was still in Nashville. The last time it was in Nashville. And he was a super cool guy. I think I had 75 subs at the time. I'm up to 413 as of the filming of this video. And he and I hit it off swimmingly. I said, look, I'd love to do some videos for you guys. I know I'm a small channel, but if you have any loaner instruments you'd want to send out, I could do a video and send it right back. I won't charge you for it. I just want the exposure, whatever. And he was super cool. He's like, nah, how about I just put you on the artist program, and you can, you'll get a discount on stuff for that. So that's been awesome too. Rick having that faith in me as a content creator, seeing the potential there and how much the channel's grown and all that. Not growing substantially, but I've also been inconsistent posting it. Anyway, I've rambled on way too long. You guys are awesome. Thank you, as always, for joining me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button if you have not yet. Go check out my merch store at Teespring. Got some awesome stuff there. Going to be updating that soon. Also, make sure you check out my channel sponsor, the new one that I just hooked up with, Spelunker Coffee. Christian is awesome, the owner of it. I drink copious amounts of coffee. Met him through some classes that I'm taking as part of my teacher prep program. And his dark roast coffee, Cave Dweller, is just amazing. Like some of the best coffee I've ever tasted. And I have probably drank hundreds of dollars worth of that coffee since our classes started a year ago. But anyway, it's great. He ships to the continental United States pretty much anywhere. So check it out if you're in the market for some new coffee. You like trying different things. He does not do K-Cups, though, as of right now. But anyway, check him out. I'll post a link to all of his stuff. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have fun playing.